Now, before we start, I must give you a few rules. There's absolutely no eating. Oh, God, if I hear those raptors crinkle one more time. Also, these cellular devices of yours must be shut off. You want to hear your actors? Yes? Yes. In case of an emergency, there are 3 exits. And lastly, if a videographer is filming the show tonight, please do not become a complete moron and walk in front of the camera. Now, darlings, are you ready to come on our little journey? It's going to be a wild ride, so sit back, relax, and what I'm really saying is cast your inhibitions to the wind, let yourself go, and let's have some fun with the show. Cheers on 3, all together. 1, 2, 3. Cheers!
I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater waiting for the lights to come up? I pray. Please, God, let this be a good show, and let it be short, oh Lord in heaven, please. 2 hours is fine. 3 hours is too much. And keep the actors out of the audience, God. I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story, and a few good songs that will take me away. I want to be entertained. I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in darkened theaters and thought to themselves, what have George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or, can Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you believe it? And now it's, please, Elton John, must we continue this charade? It used to be, sitting there in the dark, you knew that when the show began, you would be taken to another world. A world full of color and music and glamour. And you thought to yourself, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, how things have changed. Hello, how are we today?
Great.
Great? Oh, I'm feeling a little blue myself. A little anxious for no particular reason. A little sad that I should feel anxious at my age. A little self-conscious anxiety resulting in non-specific sadness. A state I like to call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So I was going through my records this morning, yes, records, and I was about to put on a soundtrack recording of Meredith Willson's The Music Man, huh? Yeah. I'm crazy for a young Ronnie Howard. But then I said no. Let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the decadent world of the 1920s, where champagne flowed while caviar chilled, and the world was a party. For the wealthy, anyway. So I dug about, and what did I find? But one of my favorite shows, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember? Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's the 2-record set, remastered from the original recording made in 1928. It's the full show with the original cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Isn't she elegant? And this is a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe that? Let me read to you what it says on the back. It says, mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Of course, the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's exactly what this show is. Fun. Would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you now?
Sure.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd say yes. That static? I love that sound. To me, it's the sound of a time machine starting up. All right, now let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928. You've just arrived at the doors of the Marasco Theater in New York. It's very cold. Remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November's the new August now. Global warming, we're all doomed. Ah! Anyway, it's very cold, and there's a heavy gray sleet falling from the sky, but you don't care, because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't it wonderful? It helps if you close your eyes. Overtures. Overtures are out of style now. I miss them, I do. It's the show's way of welcoming you.
Hello, welcome. The meal will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer?
And that's exactly what an overture is. A musical appetizer. A poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Ha! Ooh. Something new. Kind of rollicking. Sounds like sort of a dance tune. Maybe involving pirates? Oh, whoa! Ha! Oh, sorry, don't worry, there are no pirates in the show. Still hot. Oh, the moment when the music starts to build and you know you're only seconds away from being transported. Curtains going up? Well, not really, but you know, if we were in the theater. I can't wait, I'm so excited.
Yes, madam.
Oh, how do I look?
You look radiant, Mrs. Tottendale.
Oh, I do love this dress so. It never goes out of style.
It's a miracle, madam.
My dress, my fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Would someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. 'Twas such a pleasure airing it, restitching and preparing it. God bless your dress, it's one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. Madam, you're the hostess and it's happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ding, wedding bells will dong. Wedding bells will ding-a-ling and we will ding along. Your fancy dress. We're very, very glad you put it on. Wedding guests have come. Wedding guests are here. Wedding guests are at the door and soon they will appear. I'm Robert, the bridegroom. I'm here to marry Janet. That's Robert Feldzig's follies, whom I love a lot. I'm George, that's George, his best man, George. I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought. Mrs. Tottendale, now don't you worry, I have this whole wedding planned out. You see, each string represents a task yet to be completed. Yell at the florist, pay the musicians, book the minister. This whole wedding's going to run like clockwork.
Oh, is it gonna be a wedding?
I'm Feldzig, producer. I lost my leading lady. I've gotta stop this wedding or I might get shot.
I'm kidding, just kidding. I'm kidding with Mr. Feldzig. I'll be a leading lady if I get my shot.
We're pastry chefs, we cross our hearts, we're pastry chefs, no bakery. Our bakery is what we've got. Adolpho, my name is Adolpho. I am the king of romance, so I kiss a lot.
You are the king of romance, so you kiss a lot. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime.
a wedding today.
Champagne makes me drowsy.
It's really happening, truly happening, almost happening. What is happening?
I'm Trix, the alien Trix, queen of the sky. I circle through the stratus in my modern apparatus. I'm Trix, the alien Trix. I gotta fly. I'll see you when they tie the knots. A wedding, hooray, ding-a-ling!
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
A wedding's coming our way.
Well, there you have it, folks. All the guests have arrived. We have a bride who's given up the stage for love, her debonair bridegroom, hairy producer, jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a flaky Coone, a Latin Lothario, and an aviatrix. What we now call a lesbian. And of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more do you need for an evening's entertainment? Wasn't that wonderful? And we will ding along! I don't even know what that means. All right, I will lead you through this record as best I can. Don't worry, it won't be hard to follow. So, we begin with a welcome from the love-struck groom.
Well, I'd just like to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be some lucky fellow. Why, who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for prohibition, I'd say let's raise a
Hear, hear!
To Miss Janet Van de Graaff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not!
Yes! Excuse me?
The bride mustn't see the groom on the wedding day. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that, because that's the plot. Basically, hang on for a ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room.
Say, it's a little early to be drinking, isn't it?
I don't understand your question.
Look, you keep Janet away from Robert. That is your only job. You are the chaperone.
I'm mon capitaine.
No. Let's go. Come on.
Where?
Oh, Robert, who's my little monkey?
I'm your little monkey.
No, Robert, who's my little monkey? No, chaperone, no!
So, the bride and the groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Feldzig!
Getting married and leaving show business.
Mr. Feldzig!
Doesn't she know I got obligations?
Mr. Feldzig! I can be a leading lady. You said it yourself. I'm useless to the chorus.
Kitty, for the last time, you ain't got what it takes.
I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, and I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
A little annotation here. Kitty and Feldzig were a couple in real life. Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, this is a familiar comic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, actually, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something clever, which makes everyone wonder whether it's all but an act. The irony here is that Sadie actually was quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. Still, she had a wonderful career on the stage. At that time, the theater was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. This was before television.
Kitty, I ain't got time for this.
A petite four, Mr. Feldzig.
Not now.
Perhaps a nice profiterole.
Boys, I'm not hungry.
Then maybe we can give you something else to chew on.
Yeah, something that ain't food.
What? Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also
And primarily,
employees of a certain individual
A certain individual.
who happens to be the largest single investor in all the Feldzig follies. He has sent us here today
as pastry chefs.
to express his concern about Mrs. Vandergraaf's impending nuptials.
Specifically,
That if she gets married and leaves the show,
then there ain't no show.
Say, do I know you?
No, you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, but I do have a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty. Boys, you tell your boss this wedding's never gonna happen. You have my word.
Oh, we'll take your word, all right.
But to go back on your word would be a recipe for disaster. Now we hope we've made ourselves perfectly eclair.
One can only hope.
You biscotti be kidding me.
Trifle much? Don't touch with me.
All right, you can drop the pastry chef routine.
Alas, we ganache.
We're on the land.
Lambs and entree, you macaroon!
The Gangsters were played by the interchangeable vaudeville duo, the Tall Brothers, John and Peter Tall. They were born Aviram and Mendel Boslaskowitz, but were renamed at Ellis Island by a sarcastic immigration official. They were an early example of the typical Broadway gangster, full of wordplay and stylized movements, not very intimidating. Unless you find dancers intimidating. Which I do, but for reasons that would not be appropriate to the situation.
Now we'll leave the matter in your hands, Mr. Feldzig. In the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel.
Try the Toledo Surprise. It's to die for.
Are they cats, Mr. Feldzig? They're gangsters.
Very perceptive. Now go powder your face. Gotta stop this sweating. But how? Oh Lord in heaven, how? How? God.
I've always thought that moment was a little overplayed. So, with the story well in its way, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyneman. He was the Albright toothpaste man. His fabulous smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true. If you looked at the label, it was the 5th ingredient down, right after sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before he became a huge matinee idol.
Now don't you worry. It's perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is, of course.
I love Percy Hyneman. Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people I say, shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirrorman, shaking and a-quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something big be bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you've got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little rhythm. Young feet, old feet, can be uncontrolled feet. Rhythm make them cold feet. Trot down the aisle. Frosty oranges make you learn to swing. Icy toes can jive. Wedding marches played in ragtime swing. Make frigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, cold feet, turn them into bold feet. Rhythm make them cold feet. Hot.
Well, why don't you slime back into your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Ugh. Now I have to book a new minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song an old Negro taught me, a Dixie remedy for wedding day jitters.
You got the jitters, you got the easy part. I still gotta get rice, boutonnieres, a minister. The weight of the wedding's on my shoulder.
Oh, George, it sounds like you've got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Bold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet?
No! You make the cold feet hot. George, look at you, you're dancing.
I am? I am!
You ready?
Yup. Thank you.
A 5, 6, 7, 8. Cold feet. Cold feet. Turn them into cold feet. Rhythm make them cold feet. You make cold feet. You make cold feet hot. You make cold feet hot. You make the cold feet hot.
Percy Hyneman was a wonderful performer. Sometimes I like to think of him panting and sweating after a long dance routine. He's still alive, you know. I saw him on the news recently, celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the passing years had taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out and he had that wide-eyed expression of pain confusion that God reserves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know the one? Who are you? Who am I? And why is this cake on fire? You know the one? Anyway.
All right, that's enough of that tap dancing around like a fool.
I'm sorry, George. I was just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day after all.
You could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Why don't you just go out for a skate instead? That's what I do when I want to calm my nerves.
George, what would I do without you?
Wait, no, you're not going out looking like that, my friend. You might see Janet. Here's a blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
Just looking at me, my boy. And no more tap dancing. Wedding bells will ring. Wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will celebrate.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. It will stop soon.
What do you want?
Hello. You have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone and I'll call you back at my convenience.
Well, that's it. The moment's ruined. Thank you. Thank you, life. It's like a cell phone going off in the theater. God, I hate that. Hello. What are you doing today? Oh, I'm at the theater ruining the moment. How about you? Oh, I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. Sorry, let's just shake that off. All right. Relax, shake it off. All right. Let's go back to our minds in 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928. But I'm sure they had something for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something.
Happy wedding time.
Glamorous Janet Vandergraaf entertaining questions from reporters as she lounges by the window.
Miss Vandergraaf, is it true you're giving up a successful career to a married man you hardly know?
Yes, Robert and I met on the leader deck of the Ile-de-France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interest. We spooned briefly, and then he proposed.
So you'll never be returning to the stage?
I shan't.
You shan't?
I shan't.
Can we put you on that?
Of course. One more question. Yes. Why in the world would anyone put olives in a Gibson?
I have a question. How could you give up the footlights knowing very well you've got grease paint in your veins?
Oh, Victor.
Janet, please, I'm begging you. I'll give you anything you want. Dump the mug and stay with the Follies. Oh, fine, I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Oh, Victor. If you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss Miss no more. Love my signature no more. I don't
Did I miss something?
Well, Mr. Feldzig, it is painfully obvious Mrs. Van de Graaff has no intention of continuing life on the stage.
Can't you see it's killing her soul? Don't worry, boys. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore.
That was Jane Roberts, the Oops Girl. Remember her? Surely remember the Oops Girl, don't you people read? She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so great that it caused the men around her to have accidents. Spill their drinks, drive their cars into trees, and she would go, oops! Well, I'm not really doing it justice, but people ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops, the Oops Girl, Oops Girl Comes Home, Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
Okay, begging and groveling didn't work. On to plan B, and for that, I'm gonna need an accomplice. Someone gullible with loose morals. I need a, what do you call him, a European.
In walks Aldolpho, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Aldolpho was played by former silent film star and world-class alcoholic Roman Martin. And he was the one who would later drink himself to death in his chateau in Nice. Remember, it was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time it had been partially consumed by poodles. Well, only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met.
I am Adolpho.
You are Adolpho.
Yes, I am Adolpho.
Not the Adolpho.
Yes, I am Adolpho.
Funny, you don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes,
Why, just now I overheard the groom saying Adolpho is a scoundrel. I just heard him say it.
Adolpho is a scoundrel?
Those very words.
Adolpho is a scoundrel?
It's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous. He's saying this to people, to beautiful ladies with breasts for making love. Why, I must.
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and... Here. Wow, kill him!
Yes! No, don't kill him. Just hurt him enough so we can't get married.
Show me this groom! Wait.
What?
What kind of a man is this groom? A big man?
Well...
A burly fellow?
Well, he's big on the outside.
No. Adolpho will not fight big men. Small, busy little dwarf, but Adolpho can punt away. But no big men.
So you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes, Adolpho is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some say I am the king of romance.
Well, you know what they say. The best way to get revenge out of man is through his... No, the best way to get back at a man is through his...
Window.
No, revenge back at a man through his...
Through his... There is no other way. I'm not Santa Claus climbing down the chimney.
Through his woman.
His woman.
Yes, Adolpho, you must seduce his woman.
His woman.
His bride.
I must make love to the bride. That will show people Adolpho is no scoundrel. Show me to his bride. Wait.
What?
What kind of a woman is this bride? A big woman?
No.
A burly woman?
No, she's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
Yes, she's a hooker, an attractive woman.
Show me these goddamn pajamas. I will make her go.
Stop!
Goddamn pajamas.
Roman Bartelli, chewing the scenery. You certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotyping on the stage, so we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling,
Yes, madam.
the pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide us with the liquor for the party. But remember, Underling, we must be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It is prohibition after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to come up with code names. For instance, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it really means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure maybe you want to write it down?
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
A glass of
Vodka,
ice water.
vodka.
Well, you see then, that's settled. One less thing to do. Underling, might I have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather taxing, and I would like to enjoy a glass of refreshing ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
That was her vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Now, I do need a glass of ice water.
A glass of ice water, madam?
Yes, ice water, have you gone deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
You poop!
You know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. Filipino playing the Aviatrix, for instance.
Your ice water, madam.
Yes, some elements were quite progressive. Others were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm going to skip ahead.
No.
One more time.
Find some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice, for heaven's sake, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, you're probably asking yourself, what was that routine doing in the show? Well, it's very simple. There's a song coming up, and they needed something to allow for the set change. It's intense. It's like pornography. Let me explain what I meant by that. In pornography, the story is simplistic. How do I pay for this pizza? Being the classic example. My point is, as in a musical, the story exists only to connect the longer, more engaging points. What? Well, what kind of society do we live in if we can't discuss the similarities between pornography and musical theater? this is a really interesting scene. This is the first time that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone on stage together. Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I suppose that's normal considering the circumstances. Chaperone, have you ever been married?
No. I drink out of pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam. I'm afraid you've eaten all the olives.
Underling, have you ever been married?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
Oh, you two! I suppose you think I'm crazy for giving up a big, successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, I get all, oh gee, I get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The love could be caused by any number of things. I mean, I'm woozy right now, but I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by that time she was in her 80s and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. Still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be included in every show that she did, even if it wasn't appropriate. But you just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Really, you're not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration. Really, that's not my forte.
Well, yes, but, you know, if you
stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we bumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, barely knowing left from right nor right from wrong. And the best that we can do is hope a bluebird will sing his song as we stumble along. Really, that was quite nice, Chaperone, but I don't see how it pertains to my situation. Oh, well, let me explain. Oh, really, that's not necessary. I was looking for something sympathetic. It's a dismal little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica. Oh, please.
You mustn't let it lick you. This planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along across life's crowded dance floor, as we push and we shove, we live and we learn. And when we finally leave the bar and we see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn.
Chaperone, just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
My dear, that is something you will have to decide for yourself.
I just don't know if he loves me.
Well, why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Rata? Do you love me?
It's Robert, and in fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're right, and I take that responsibility very seriously. However, I'm just this moment feeling terribly, terribly drowsy, and I must have a lie down. Now, whatever you do, make sure you don't go into the gardens to ask your fiancé the question in which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone! I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Oh, when will love come crashing through my door?
Who it is? Aldolpho come to seduce the bride?
I am Adolpho.
Try not to think of the poodles while you're listening to this.
I am Adolpho. And you are bride.
No, I'm not.
What? This is the bridal suite. And you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be the bride.
Interesting argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron. Me, no bride. Perhaps I could take a message.
Yes, very good. Dear Van de Graaf bride, I must make love to you. Transfer you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Signed, Adolpho, King of Froemmling.
Well, I'm afraid you saw through my little ruse. You found me out.
Ah, so you are the bride.
Apparently, yes. Take me, bald face.
No. Not Adolpho face. Adolpho. You must remember my name. For when we're making love and you're screaming, you must say the right name or it will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you have heard the name Adolpho. A ladies' man who wins a play, Adolpho. Well, now name is I am the same Adolpho. I introduce myself. I am Adolpho.
Nice to meet you, shall we?
Not so fast. So just in case you didn't hear Adolpho, I tried to make it very clear, Adolpho. All the ladies always cheer Adolpho. When I repeat myself, I am Adolpho.
Understood.
I can sing it high. I can sing it low. Adolpho. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly. I will do it now, but it will take hours. Now let us see if you can remember my name.
Give it a shot. Aldolpho.
How would you refer to me?
Aldolpho.
And who is it I always think?
Aldolpho.
Now sing it loudly.
You are Aldolpho.
Now let me spell it out for you. For all you beautiful ladies who didn't hear for some reason. Maybe you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes. Da ha 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 ha.
Favorite number in the show. I think it was her secret fantasy to be swept off her feet by a Latin lover. I mean, a real Latin lover, not the buffoon. That's what musicals are all about, right? Romantic fantasy, falling in love with the drop of a hat, spontaneous tangoing, suddenly finding yourself in an insanely romantic situation.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. Don't worry, madam. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear a blindfold.
A blindfold?
I'm sorry, who am I speaking to anyhow?
Oh, why, it's me. I mean, me from France.
This scene couldn't be more ridiculous.
So, you are Martin Jeanette Van, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful.
Oui.
And very glamorous.
Ah, oui. Oui.
Is it true she has an exceptionally broad range and can play both comedic and dramatic roles?
Say, I'm having trouble placing your accent. What part of France are you from?
Oh, the middle part, where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about your, how do you say in English, fiancé?
That's right.
Well, tell me, when was the moment when you knew she was the one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Ile-de-France.
Yeah.
I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
And then what happened?
And then I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes. And I felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell!
Oh, well, yes. Right on my keister. And then I said, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
Oh, but we haven't left the dock.
Well, that's what she said. And that's when I knew it must be love.
And then you said...
And then I said... There was a time I could stop on a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hem that's been caught by a shoe. When my two lovesick arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so happy I happened to you.
And then what happened?
And then she joined in.
touches my soul, but I'm bracing myself for disaster. You're an accident waiting to happen, a catastrophe destined to be.
That's me, I'm the rags in the cellar.
A broken umbrella, a branch hanging loose from our tree. I can see myself jumping and clapping for a man who lives dangerously. You're an accident waiting to happen, so hurry and happen to be. And then what happened?
And then we kissed. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so hurry and happen to me.
Wait a minute! You kissed a straight French girl on our wedding day!
Oh no! What have I done? Wait!
Oh no! Oh, I can't believe it! Oh, it seems that the blindfold and the fake French accent have led to a terrible misunderstanding. What a mess! Will it all work out in the end now? Oh, of course it will. It's not real. It's a musical. Everything always works out in musicals. In the real world, nothing ever works out. And the only people who burst into song are the hopelessly deranged.
Mr. Bouncy!
Where's that philandering foreigner?
Mr. Bouncy!
How long does it take to seduce one bride?
Mr. Bouncy!
Kitty, not now.
You don't need Janet no more. I've been working on a new mind-reading act. Presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible! Now, think of something.
Oh, I'm thinking of something, all right.
Wait, I'm getting it. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread. And don't forget to shave your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot.
No wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Feldzig,
It would seem that the wedding is proceeding according to schedule.
now it is time you received your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Should we whip up something special for Mr. Feldzig?
Yeah. How about the Toledo Surprise?
An inspired choice.
Toledo Surprise, I've never heard of that.
No, you haven't. Those who have heard of it are generally never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow, and then you go to Toledo. Toledo Surprise!
Could you run that by me again?
Oh, yeah.
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Feldzig.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough. Then you bake it up nice and slow, and then you go to Toledo.
Toledo Surprise! What do you say we give him a taste?
All right.
Hold it! What style, what grace, what rhythm! Open your fists. Now shake them. Run that recipe by me one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Go!
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up
Front!
Nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo. Toledo Surprise.
Excellent!
Pick the peach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo. Toledo Surprise. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it, it's a snap. Try it close, whip your whites, split your yolks. Then you got a Splendido. Toledo Surprise.
You boys are naturals.
Honest.
Keep it up, I'll go work on the contracts.
Hey!
A 5-6 6, 7, 8. Kitty, I'm developing a new act with the pastry chefs.
Toledo Surprise!
You mean you put the gangsters in your show, but you won't put me in? You're not even in the union.
Shh, you got it all wrong. The new act, it's for you, Kitty, and these boys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy yes! One that hot Toledo time, suck my libido. Good? Yes, indeed, I'm sugary, yum yum. Praise the pan, like the food, like the plan. Makes you bust to Toledo, Toledo Surprise. Wait.
Adolpho, you make an announcement. Wedding is off.
For the love of God, why?
Adolpho has made love to the bride.
Right, idiots, that is the chaperone.
What?
The wedding is on.
Oh. The wedding is off.
What?
Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi. She is very beautiful.
Oh, I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Holy mother of balls!
Underling!
Yes, madam.
What is all this commotion about?
The wedding, madam.
Oh, is there gonna be a wedding?
Not anymore. Yes, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo Surprise!
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready!
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready!
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Now it's looking ready. Surprise!
You got it!
Makes me twitch, makes me shake. This dessert takes the cake. Hits me like a torpedo. Toledo Surprise!
Toledo Surprise! Surprise! Yes, but the tune is so infectious.
Oh, Robert, this is the saddest day of my life.
Wedding bells won't ring, wedding bells won't chime. They will never celebrate their happy wedding time.
I don't like intermissions. They ruin the magic of the show. They yank you back into reality. One moment you're sitting in the glamorous world of music and romance, and bang! You're surrounded by tourists, crinkling candy wrappers and nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. It's cruel, really. Oh, sorry. It's a Trader Joe's bar. This strawberry walks into a bar. I'm sorry, I have a bit of a blood sugar thing. I have to eat small meals throughout the day, or else I get jittery. I know it's rude, but it's better than the alternative, believe you me. Believe you me. I remember my wedding day. I didn't eat breakfast and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. Ah, I do. Are you surprised that I was married? There you go, you shouldn't go making assumptions about people now, should you? I'm a very complicated person. I have to pee now. I'll be quick, I promise. And while I'm gone, you can listen to the beginning of Act 2. I'll be quick, I promise.
Nightingale song. I need a message from a nightingale. Nightingale.
You know about Emperor and American lady, no see eye to eye.
But Emperor, sometimes a different outlook can change your point of view.
What?
Precisely. What is it about the Asians that fascinate Caucasians? What is it about the Asians that's so nice? Is it the wontons, the egg rolls, the rice? Perhaps it's Buddha or Confucius and their excellent advice.
What is it about Caucasians that mystifies the Asians? What is it about Caucasians that's so odd? They call a pretty lady a prawn. They have hair upon the chest and they only have one god. Impossible! What?
Sorry. That song is not from the Drowsy Chaperone. That was from another musical entirely. I have a woman who comes in once a month. Can you say that? I have a woman. Anyway, she cleans the things I absolutely refuse to clean. She's very good, but she has this annoying habit of putting my records away. And in the wrong sleeves. Even though I say, no touch records, Carmela. No touch records. I suppose if I spoke to her in complete sentences, she wouldn't touch my records. Anyway, that was a different Gablenstein musical called The Enchanted Nightingale. A degrading piece of chinoiserie about an emperor who was told by a magic bird to marry his American elocutionist instead of his betrothed, and he ends up building the Great Wall of China. It's really a slap in the face to 4,000 years of Chinese history. But it had some wonderful tunes. That was Beatrice Stockwell as American Lady, and did you notice Roman Bartelli as the Emperor? Yes, he was a man of 1,000 accents, all of them insulting. Now, Act 2 of the Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. a haunting lament from a very depressed bride. She sings it standing on her balcony, bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon, which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the day. Now, while you're listening to this, try to ignore the lyrics. I know it will be difficult, but block them out, they're not the best. But the tune is beautiful, and it truly communicates the bride's state of mind. Just ignore the lyrics.
I put a monkey on a pedestal and try to make that monkey stay. And he did for a time, but he needed to climb and with other monkeys play far away. He left his jacket on that pedestal beside his tiny rusty cup, and I haven't got the strength to pick them up. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two, but I'll always save that pedestal for you.
Pour myself a brandy.
Come, my little monkey, come, my little monkey, do.
The melody is so simple, it just floats in the air. And I must confess, I always get a little misty when I think of that tiny little jacket lying on the pedestal, its long sleeves dangling to the floor.
Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two, but I'll always save that pedestal for you. Come, my little monkey, come, my little monkey, do.
Okay, here we go.
Wait,
Who are you?
I'm Janet Van
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of one
What
man?
do I care about the love of one man when I am adored by millions? Do I get to be so gloomy? No, no, no. I can rule the world, and so I just singing for the favorites in every show. Gertrude's side hand in the other.
That was really last loose.
I'm Janet Van ain't no nail that I can't hammer. Why give up the life of glamour? Life of glamour, life of glamour, no!
Monkey, monkey,
I love this part.
monkey, monkey,
It's having a complete mental breakdown.
monkey, monkey, monkey.
I'm an ice cream I don't wanna show off no more. I don't wanna spread hurt no more. Be the greatest on earth no more. I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't, I do, I don't, I do. I don't wanna show and I think George and it's George and the future is secure and it's millions will be just fine. But any future I've ever cared to change includes just one two-time in cat who drives me such a helpless fool. I know now that I love you. Take me on the toll away. I love you, monkey. Is love enough? Is love ever enough? That's the story of a monkey gonna spin. I am
Monkey, monkey,
the stars keep Is it the monkey or my pedestal?
Jane Goodall. And that's another thing I love about musicals in general. When a character is in a crisis, they sing and they dance, which, in my opinion, is much more enjoyable than them just whining about it. But that's the glory of musical theater, and I could go on for... Ah! This is what I was talking about. This is life. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds, and then something starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now, or would you prefer I wait until morning?
I'm gonna stop here because I don't want this number ruined by a ringing telephone. These are 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of time. Ukulele Lil and Noel Fitzpatrick. I know absolutely nothing about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil played the ukulele, but she doesn't in this show. I actually tried to find out more about her. I looked through all my books and I did an internet search, but all that came up were Tiny Tim's autopsy photos. Still, they're both very charming.
Well, why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, Underling never listened to a bride on her wedding day. That was a very complex emotion, Underling.
Yes, madam.
You see, you can be very close to someone one minute, and by the next minute you just want to strangle them. Do you understand that?
I'm familiar with the urge to strangle.
You see, that's the very nature of love. Love makes lovers worry, love makes lovers fret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo loved Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, madam.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel, love can cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. 'Twas a happy fate for Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
Might I remind you, madam, that Anne Boleyn lost her head?
Well, yeah, she was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam.
Here we go again.
And Samson and Delilah, too.
May I pose a question, madam?
Wait, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do.
Quite taxing. Excuse me, madam, while I pour myself a glass of ice water.
Love sneaks up behind you, love drops from above. But love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me, and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But your late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly coot. Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, that number was charming, but to be frank, on some level, that number really pisses me off. I'm gonna say something here, and yes, I've been drinking, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that love isn't always lovely in the end, huh?
Yeah.
Often in the end, there are lawyers, huh? And another thing. Surely someone was aware of the awkward sexual connotation of that title. I mean, it's just me. I guess what I'm saying is that number is naive, and irresponsibly so. I'm sorry, I just thought that had to be said for the benefit of the young people in the audience. I won't interrupt anymore. Oh, there's a moment coming up that I've become obsessed with.
Oh, there you are, chaperone. I'm in a terrible state.
You certainly are. You can't go to the wedding looking like that.
Oh dear, haven't you heard? The wedding has been called off.
Not your wedding. Mine! That reminds me, might I borrow your veil?
You're getting married? Oh, but to whom?
Ah, beautiful lady with baffled expression.
You're marrying Adolpho?
Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I just get all drowsy. And that's love, isn't it?
Yes, dear, that is love.
Oh, there you are. All right. I'm going to put all my cards on the table. I got a weak heart. I can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's going to blow. So tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the good Lord in heaven.
Adolpho and Chaperone are getting married.
What? Oh,
Oh, there you are. I have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
we know.
You know?
Yes, we just heard.
But who told you?
I did.
But how did you know?
What difference does it make?
Mrs. Tottendale and I are to be married at the gardens at 7:30 this evening.
What? Oh, yes. Congratulations to everyone.
Say, what kind of a cockamamie wedding is this when the bride and the groom aren't even getting married? Oh.
There you are, Janet. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? Janet, it's our wedding day. George has gone to all this trouble and, well, I do love you. More than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
I know, and I just can't understand it. Janet, I know this may sound ridiculous, but when I was kissing that French girl, why, it was just like I was kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me.
You mean you're Mimi? Well, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
Why, thank you. I developed it when I played the role of Monique in Hold That Baguette.
There you are. Before you do anything, know this. No matter how well you play the part of the happy wife, you will never, ever get a standing ovation.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm so confused. Chaperone, just this once, can you give me a piece of advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation? Should I get married to Robert?
Now, here it comes. The moment I was talking about. Not only is it the culmination of a plot, but also a moment that has brought me back to this record time and time again. Here it is.
Well, my advice to you is...
And this is it. Listen.
Well, you can.
You see, you can't understand what she's saying because someone drops a cane. Here, I'll play it for you again.
Well, you can.
Is she saying, live while you can, or leave while you can?
Well, you can.
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it could be a cynical quip. But this is a wedding, after all, and that's exactly what you think when you're standing at the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. And you choose to live because you do love her, in some ways. It's not an exact science. An arrow doesn't come down out of the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So you say it to someone. One day you say, I love you, and basically you phrase it as a question, but they accept it as fact. And then suddenly there she is standing in front of you with a $3,000 dress on and tears in her eyes, and her nephew made the hoopah, so what do you do? Do you say, I was kidding, I was joking? No, you can't. You live, right? You choose to live. And for a couple of months, you stare at the alien lump in bed beside you and think to yourself, who are you? Who are you? And then one day you say it out loud, And then it's trial separation and couples counseling, and all of your conversations are about her eating disorder and yours Olaf addiction, and you're constantly redefining and revisiting and reevaluating until you finally lose the deposit on the house, and the whole relationship ends on a particularly ugly note with your only copy of Gypsy spinning through the air and smashing against the living room wall. But still, in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
Well, you can.
You have no idea how many times I've listened to that.
Oh, Chaperone, you certainly have a way with words. Robert, the answer is yes. I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, Mr. Feldzig, it seems the wedding is a done deal.
Looks like you're in trouble.
And there's nothing you can do about it. But there is, I've found a replacement, a new leading lady. Presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible. Okay, Kitty, now concentrate and show the boys how you can read my mind. My mind.
Kitty? Will you marry me? Holy cats, Mr. Feldzig, yes!
Isn't she amazing? Well, ladies, go get on your frillies and we'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you managed to do it. 4 weddings in one day? You must be everybody's best man now.
I am?
Well, that's certainly
Yes, of course. I am.
Hip, hip.
Hooray! He's George, that's George, the best man, George.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a fight well fought. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding.
Minister, you may begin. Oh no, I forgot the minister. Oh no. I think I have one job, one thing to do. I failed again. No. Why me? Oh God. Who the hell are you?
I'm Trix. Eating Trix. No, not to Rio. I was wending when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix, and then I'll fly and let you know it's time. But not so sorry to crash the party, folks. But we'll have this fixed in 2 shakes and off to Rio Carnival.
Wait, the captain of a ship can perform a marriage?
Yes!
And a pilot is comparable to a captain?
Yes!
An airplane is kind of a sheet. Sheet of the sky. Some call it air sheet.
Oh, shit! Yes!
Wait, I got it, Trix. You can marry them on the plane, and we'll have the honeymoon in Rio.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but one of the when lovers true, I do in the sky. When vows are said in a amazing gathers will start. I do in the sky. To
Everybody stay calm. It's a horrible old apartment with terrible wiring. Oh. Concentrate. Just keep the show alive in your mind. Don't talk to anyone. Don't let yourself be distracted. I'll find the fuse box. Everybody stay quiet.
It's a super!
Oh, God.
Hi,
Hello.
your lights are out.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to shut the power off because we're replacing the breaker panel in the basement.
Yes.
So we replaced it. But when we turn the power off, the breakers in all the apartments trip.
Yes.
That's what happens. It's normal.
Yes.
So I gotta reset your breakers.
Now?
It'll only take a second.
Oh, all right.
Well, I tried calling you earlier before, but there was no answer.
Oh, I've been having a problem with the phone.
Here we go. What was that?
It was a record.
What kind of music was that?
It was just music. It was a show. You know, a musical.
You like musicals?
No.
I love musicals. I go with the husband all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. You see Miss Saigon? They flew a helicopter on stage on that one. Yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen Cats, Les Mis, Saturday Night Fever. I like the movie better.
Oh, really?
Have you seen it?
Well, goodbye. Well, that's it. It's ruined. One note away from the end of the show and the mood is ruined. I should just start the record again from the beginning. No, I can't do that. Can I? Oh, it's so frustrating. You have to understand, I love this show so much. And I've never even seen it. My mother gave me this record. This was just before my father left us. Oh, he didn't leave because of the record, but I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame, and the monkey motif is labored. But it does what a musical is supposed to do. It takes you to another world. It gives you a little tune to carry with you in your head, you know? A little something to help you escape the dreary horrors of the real world. A little something for when you're feeling blue, you know? As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do.